we need it. So, okay. All right, we rolling, Austin?
Yep.
Sweet, man.
20 minutes
Cool
starts
beans.
now.
Okay, 20
Cool
minutes on the
beans.
clock.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
We're here. I haven't been here in a while.
Good morning.
Good morning. Exciting.
I want to be clear. I was on time.
Yeah.
But we are starting late, so.
Yeah, that's okay. You were here like a minute before we were supposed to start, so that was better than anticipated. So.
Yes. Yep.
And we got 20 minutes now, so gonna get into it.
Okay.
I think modularity is kind of one of the most obvious topics that I think would be. I think there's probably 17 parts to it, but that's obviously like what sets us apart as a company. So I would love to hear from you first, just like why that was important. You know, I know we talked a little bit in one of the first or second episode about, you know, the original intent was kind of getting your father-in-law out of your hair, getting Brent away.
Right.
And, you know, he had concerns about his bike. And so that was kind of where the gear slide and like the movable hydraulic bed came into play, was to make sure he had like enough room for that. So was that what sparked the whole T-track system? Where did that whole idea come from?
So T-track came into play. A little bit down the road in the game. It came about a year into the design process of really building the first unit. But on the topic of modularity has been with us relatively since day one. But you know, whenever you start designing something, building something, you typically don't know what the outcome is. A lot of times great things come from something else. Sticky notes. We all love sticky notes. Sticky notes was actually a failure. It was a glue trying to be made for something else. And eventually someone went into the guy's office who was trying to formulate this glue. And someone came in his office and said, "Hey, what is it that you're sticking to your desk and the walls?" And they said, "Oh, it's a glue that doesn't work for the application, but it works really good for me to hold my notes on the wall. And so, you know, I just use it for myself." Lo and behold, sticky note. So
yeah, I had no idea that was even.
Huh?
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, that's how sticky note was created.
Wow.
So yeah, if you look it up, it's crazy. But that's how I think a lot of inventions are made. It's made by getting after it, starting to see something, and a lot of times, even like a conversation I had with Nick last night, it's a matter of we got to get things to a visual perspective a lot of times because it directs us in the direction we need to go. We might be engineering something for like an air vent in the floor or a heat vent, but we've already engineered that for something else in the van. We just don't realize it till we see it.
Yeah.
That's how modularity, I think, came about with our vans. As you go back to, I think it's the first episode and somewhat the second, I talk about, yes, the van that I originally started building from Brent Klein, my father-in-law. And in that build, we started going down the road of like seat posts because he's a cyclist, can't move the seat post, so the gear slide happens, right? So fast forward through that, when we kind of started hitting the high points of what we wanted the build to be when it came to building them for others. Modularity at first really started with using the passenger van. Because how we looked at it is we looked at it and said, well, the seats are modular. You can pull them in and out. And I really think from the application of seeing how taking seats in and out of our van, you know, our first builds really didn't have kitchen pods, kitchen galleys. We really didn't have anything like that. It was 8 passenger seats, a gear slide, and a bed with a power system. There was nothing really tied in with it. And so really we were, in a lot of cases, forced by design to figure out how to be modular. Now, we always knew that modular totes and modular things like within your home, your truck bed toolboxes, like I always knew like the value of modularity, but I would really give credit to Brent for really kinging the word modular. I mean, it's, and you know, and now, you know, whenever we first started using it, it was a question of, okay, what is that? Now, you know, now it's a term used highly because of the value which it brings. I mean, I will sit here and say, you know, we are in our field, I would go on record saying that we are the most modular build out there. I would also stretch it maybe, but I still think I'm being factual here and say that we are the only truly modular builder out there in our field. There are some other builders that do things like in the construction world and have modular pieces. Let me turn my phone off.
I think it might have been your iPad.
I forgot about that. But we start down the road of we are completely modular from the fact that we wanted to be modular with seating and utilizing the Ford factory seats that we still use today in our live and do models. That forced us to where those seats go is where our kitchen pod needs to go. So if our seats are modular, our kitchen has to be modular. And that was the approach that we took that you see today with everything. Now our water systems are 100% removable. They're modular. You can take our water system out, hook it up in your garage, have a fully working, the kitchen galley setup that you put in your van and water system, you can take out, put in your garage, and it fully functions for you. There's no difference. And so, that is kind of a brainchild off of the modularity of the seats and increase in the versatility of one vehicle becoming the Swiss Army knives of van builds. I mean, it was forced upon us because we didn't want to give up the seats. So it was just, okay, well, if we don't want to give up seats, we want to keep the seating at 8 passengers. Once we released the Live, the Go was only 7. They have to be interchangeable. And so we were forced to stay modular. And with that, our owners, as I kind of have said numerous times, our owners are who build our vans. That versatility and modularity is what we do. We work everything around it. Everything comes with that. And I said that, Extrusion and T-Track came not from the first iteration, but it is what we knew we needed. Our commercial sales manager, who's been with us forever, Ted, he's actually the one who came upon really showing me Extrusion. You could watch Sandlot. Actually, watching Sandlot, it's also hot in here. So, I forgot I had this on. I can't believe I just said it. Look at this.
Oh, gosh.
Yep, that's it. We're here to stay. But it's also my favorite shirt. But so like in Sandlot, they build stuff out of like an erector set. So they build stuff out of, and that's what we saw with the Extrusion, and then instantly, Brent, Ted, my brother-in-law's John, and I think Alan were both there. They will tell you how excited I got working with the extrusion rep because we saw the opportunities that it brought to us, and that's where it just was an instant light bulb that this is how we get modularity in everything we do. And then it's like we set those as top priorities, and modularity is here to stay. And so when we say we're modular, we are on everything. It's not, it's a modular piece that a door moves. No, it is, you can take that out of the van and you can put it back in. You can rearrange it. You can move it. You can do all these things. It's truly, actually, full-heartedly modular. Yeah. And that's how we approach everything we do.
Yeah. Yeah, so when determining, the seats move, so that's modular, and then obviously the power box was framed with the extrusion. Like what was the timeline and progression of, because you referenced the kitchen pod too pretty early on. So what was first? What kind of came first? What's the order of when those were introduced, and did they kind of naturally fall into one another, or was there something that didn't work and that's why something new appeared?
So the whole build out, so you go back to the Go model, which is the predecessor to the Live. So you had the bed, you had the gear slide, you had the power boxes and boxes in the side and the back. All of that from what would be considered branded Vandoit has all been built by that. That is when we took the step and said, our goal is to make a valuable product that lasts for people. So how do we do it? And I do not want to build what's out there standard in the industry. I do not want wood. I do not want cabinet doors that fall off. So it was either one or two things. It's either build everything, and the first frames were steel frames that we built welded.
Wow.
But we still had to utilize wood and other components that had to like fill in the gaps. It was when we really approached the idea of implementing extrusion, where it's like, we're going to use this for everything because it gives us what we want for everything. It allows us to eliminate wood completely. So no drop of wood since that decision made. So we made the decision to go 100% extrusion built, with no more wood. So the gear slide was then created. The side boxes were created. The design team that I was working with at the time, I just went to their office and sat down with them for 2 weeks. I did not leave one guy's desk for 2 weeks. Basically, I still had a job running Klein Van, but I just, Brent and I both agreed, and that's just where I went. I went and just basically put wholehearted focus for 2 weeks, and the brainchild of the Go was created. And then as we saw the functionality of what we were doing, we didn't let go of it. And so, to answer your question, the kit was made, the kit was designed, and then we took what we learned from it with its capabilities and morphed it into a kitchen pod that was removable. Then we morphed it into pods that were removable, toilet sheds that we have many names for, removable. It just started down a long list, and now, the Do model was then created about 2 years later. Beds are removable. It's kept the same main focus of truly giving our customers a product that really is modular.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, wholeheartedly, not just say it, show it, and prove it.
And
that's what
not
we do.
just modular as like a camper van either. We've described ourselves as like the camper van, or like the van of like similar to the Great American Pickup Truck. That's like a phrase that you had said a lot, is like you can truly take everything out of it and turn it into a cargo.
Right.
So I think another topic that you could probably touch on is like in that same vein, like what these vans are usable for, that's not just for camping and like traveling with your family. You can do a whole lot more with it, and we even here at the shop like use them, the empty ones, to go haul stuff and all kinds of things like that. So it's truly like, I mean, how many different ways can you even think to use them? So, and in like the vein of commercial, so how did all of the camper van side of things with modularity, how does that play into like the commercial division? I think the commercial division is like a whole nother
it's a
big topic, but needs are obviously different and that kind of thing. And I think a lot of what we've built have been cargos, so the seats are kind of not really in the picture in that, the rear seats are not really in the picture. So how does that translate in your mind? Like what's different?
Austin, what's our time, buddy?
7 minutes.
7 minutes? Okay.
We'll switch that in.
Yeah. So let's make commercial itself probably just another 20-minute segment. So still on the word modular, and with what you're saying about like, I think what I'm hearing is like what you're saying, 1,000-foot view, even our vans themselves, not even in them, but the van itself is modular in its own sense of versatile, and its ability of in a facet, transforming into different things. Is it just, again, as another conversation this week about like our live, our do, and our move models. Like that's a move model on the screen. It's still a Ford chassis. All our platforms are the same. They're all Ford. And for however long I foresee it being, we've always been that way, and I foresee it, unless Ford kicks us out, it's going to remain that way. We have an amazing partnership with them. And, but every van is built on it's a Ford chassis. So the chassis itself allows us to be versatile. It also allows us to be, in some context of the form, modular. Because we can take that same chassis and implement a different setup. So, like the commercial builds, they are the move build. I mean, that's what they are. They're both kind of the same brainchild. It's just, do you want it to be a cargo chassis for starters, or do you want it to have passenger seats in the rear with airbags?
Yeah.
Which now we're flirting with the name MoveX, so we'll see.
Oh, okay.
MoveX, it's the list is getting longer. I've been now turned away from Move Airbag.
Oh, good.
Good. We are now further away from that, but yeah, it's our whole approach, even going back to the versatility and modularity of even working with Illuminous on the rear doors. Mm-hmm. It's, you can either put a tire here, you can put a box here, and guess what? You're not locked into that forever.
Yeah.
If you want to switch them, the versatility and the modularity of it allows you to do it.
Yeah.
Our roof rack does that. You know, everything that we do from unit to unit allows it, and the application, and we'll talk about that maybe in another segment, but like the different applications of, you know, the commercial side, it's endless. You know, it's a crazy thing that we've learned definitely in the marketing side of this business and company. We list a do model for sale, and that do model has a screen in it. Mm-hmm. But as you know, if we turn around, and Austin, I know you know this too, buddy, if we take our do model, we put screens in it, we do a photo shoot showing as a mobile office, we call it a mobile office, it is the exact same.
Yeah.
But it is getting it to a clear point of this is what this is.
Yeah, or the potential of what it could be, which is difficult to see from the outside in, you know? So that's why it's so important.
And I think why a lot of people give up on modularity, builders, not individuals, but I think builders and other people give up on modularity is because it's not clean cut. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, I'll say, like, if you go to, like, our inventory page, I just did a video talking about just give us the opportunity. Yeah. Because we have ways to take units and be versatile and modular. So if you say, I only need 2 people, but I want that galley kitchen, a van that you see that has 8 seats has that functionality. Mm-hmm. Let us show you that, though.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we call our salespeople counselors, because they're counseling to help you get in what you need. You got to put enough trust in them for us to give us the opportunity to show you.
Yeah.
Because modularity can be hard to be seen. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy. We have people who that's all they do is setups here, and they're constantly showing me new setups with the same design. It's like, hey, I'm taking these pods, these modules, but I'm rearranging like this. I'm like, why have we never thought of that?
Isaac.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's
just flipping a cabinet upside down, and now all of a sudden it's like a clothing rack, and we're like, how does your brain work?
It's not Isaac, it's Pod Daddy.
Oh, right. We should have him in here to talk about that.
Yes, Isaac is next.
Oh my gosh.
But no, it's something where, I mean, I want to believe that, you know, people see us as the modular company, truly. Like, people who are looking at our product. Don't look at it and say, well, I'm not quite sure if this is right for us.
Yeah.
We don't build custom vehicles for quality and other purposes, but we build customizable. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like emphasizing that second part of that word, because with customizable comes the modularity. Mm-hmm. We will show you how different we can set these up. People come in for 2-day deliveries. Why? Because the level of modularity that our vans give you, let our team help you leave successful, not off what you think you need. Let us show you what you need.
Yeah, well, I think most of the time they leave with something different.
Absolutely.
You know? And what a lot
of times they leave with the same components.
Yeah, just
different setup.
Different placement.
Yeah, so modularity, full circle, came from the benefits of the Ford passenger chassis and knowing we need to keep those seats in there for the safety of passengers, safety of kids, the airbags in the rear, and that I think we would have been modular without it, just eventually, because of just, I think, how we all think around here. Mm-hmm. But how we start is what forced us, and we simply saw the value, and that's what we do. We go after the value. We simply figure out what's more valuable to customers, and we do that. Against our own personal feelings, personal beliefs, we go after what we see is most valuable to the customer. And so, there's it. That's modularity for you.
Great. Was that where are we at?
That was 20.
Oh, cool.
20 minutes and 8
Getting
seconds.
good at this stuff.
You just
Okay.
have like an internal clock now that tells you when
Well,
you're
I
done.
had to ask him, so. Okay.
Oh.
Appreciate it, Haley.
Well, but 7 minutes, if you were able to like get 7 minutes mentally like that's kind of impressive. That's kind of an odd amount of time.
It is.
You're just that good.